Oh, is it? Yeah, you're right. 650. So you get the 550. You get the early bird cost. But that's pretty cool. And I guess that includes. I'm would be surprised if that includes the entire cruise, but I guess so. Because normally cruises are super expensive. But that is that. So if you want to look into that, just search NG Cruise.
Actually, it says up there that the accommodations aren't covered. So they're taking gives you full access to entry cruises.
Conference
Ticket
tickets.
doesn't come through accommodation as well.
I did that today. Had my own voice on my recording. Okay, so yeah, accommodations are probably expensive. Let's see where that goes. Okay, anyway, if you're interested, that's that. And if you are interested, let me know, and then we can be conference, whatever they called it, and get you $100 off the tickets. So they do have workshops, pretty cool, and all that. Does anybody have any? Let me see. I'm trying to think if there's any conferences coming up nearby, but I don't know of any. Does anybody have any community announcements to make? Any jobs that they're looking for, jobs that they're looking to hire for, events that they're a part of? No, oh, sorry.
PAX South is coming.
PAX South?
PAX.
PAX South, yes, that is. That's a week and a half from now? A week and a half from now?
Just right, yeah.
If y'all don't know, PAX South is a gaming conference here in San Antonio, 27th. They got some cool stuff, been there a couple times. And of course, Saturday sold out as far as the badges go. But yeah, if you're into gaming, they've got board games, they've got video games, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's more of a nerd thing. Yes?
Oh, I was just going to say, next Tuesday here at Geekdom, there's Talent Tuesday. A decent-sized event. There's a lot of IT industry professionals going over networking and soft skills. And I'm a partner in that. But there's recruiting firms and things like that there. So if you want to network and meet a lot of people, a lot of the IT movers and shakers, there should be a bunch of them there. So, next Tuesday here, 6 o'clock.
Here at 6 o'clock, okay. That reminds me, there's another meetup in town. Actually, there's a couple ones. The Iron Yard does one. Did I notice a Code Up shirt back there? Are you from Code Up or are you a student there or part? What? Students, okay, cool. I've noticed at the Iron Yard, they do meetups. So they're worth checking out. I wonder if Code Up may do meetups as well, and then there might be another one in town that does it. But they've got some free crash courses to watch out for if you want to look at different things. So here's one on making a gift buying list, and these are free. They're usually on Saturdays, I think. Maybe not. I don't know when that is, but hour and a half. Cool stuff. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Let's see if Code Up has a meetup. I don't think they do.
No, they don't do a meetup,
Okay.
but one of our chapters is that software.
Oh yeah, that is definitely worth mentioning. Is the San Antonio Software Web Dev, or San Antonio Web Dev?
It's web dev.
Yeah, Web Dev meetup. And they do that not here, but right down the street. Yeah, and it's on Tuesday, the Tuesday before this one. So if you want to increase your number of meetups you go to a month, that would be a good one. Highly recommended. And they have pizza that gets you there on time sometimes.
Is that app Code Up?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's actually, yeah.
yeah.
And they're just downstairs.
Right. Correct. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, Daniel, do you want to start? Do you have anything to show off?
It's a show off. I guess. Actually, show of hands, anybody who prepared? Great.
I can do something off the cuff. I kind of have a weird use for JavaScript that
Excellent.
people may not know about.
Good, this is good. See that, okay. You want to start?
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You want to do it on here?
Yeah, I just went into my account. This might take a... How do I open a incognito?
Oh, what?
Incognito
Oh.
browser.
Nope. Oh God, what did I
Okay,
do? That's
never
how I
mind.
create a new note
Oh.
in Evernote.
I don't use Macs.
Um,
It just...
You
Okay,
can be a
that works.
guest.
There you go. All right. Awesome.
Not only is this projected to everybody here, it's also to the entire internet.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's a fun thing. And they can pause it at any point in time.
Mm.
See everything.
Need to hide all that stuff. Okay. Well, this is going to be my New Year's resolution project. Basically, the plan was to create a project where you'll be doing throughout the year and then having milestones through the year to present and then to get it done by the end of the year. So my project, I want to tackle the fact that we have a gap in the community that we built with Hill Country JS, this meetup. There are 374 JavaScripters registered in meetup.com, but we have an average of 20 people attending, and this is based on eyeball math, so not very scientific. We had a minimum of 6. You can see right there, right, ooh, I have this, I can use this, yeah, right there. 6 went. Yeah. So, I mean, you can see right now we have, how many do we have here? 4, 8, 12, 13. Yeah, so it's fairly big discrepancy. The other thing is we have a chat on Gitter.im, and there's only 14 members on that. There's also a bot and someone from Singapore. That's included in the 14. So when you guys join up on the meetup page, we asked, what is something important that this meetup should do? And these are the most common answers. Friendly environment to ask questions, like communal learning, networking relationships, and to have fun. I feel like we could do more for these. The other question was, what are you interested in learning? That's outside of the scope. Yeah. So the solution that I'm proposing is a website. So in more words, basically a place where everybody can go to when they have the question, when they have a question for JavaScript. Whenever people have trouble, they would just gravitate to this website and ask it. Licensing, MIT license, open source. The project will be completely free. This is for learning and maybe fluff up my resume if needed. Requirements. So the minimum viable product is to show upcoming meetups and being able to RSVP to it. Then have a mentorship system. I don't have that fleshed out yet. So any ideas welcome. And also to improve the user experience of our current tools. So we are using Meetup, we're using Gitter, but for some reason people are not very, I don't know, they're not going into it. So it's something to figure out. So the milestones, I figured by the end of January, I want to survey all the members to figure out what everybody wants or what they feel like they are more likely to use. Then by the end of February, set up a Ghost blog as a backup plan. So just to have something out there for now. By March, flesh out the design plan and actually write out a document for it. By June, so from March to June, it will be starting to develop. And by June, it will be the beta release. And then August, so the beta release, and then for 2 months, we'll get feedback, and then from the feedback, get another design plan ready. From there, we'll take another 3 months to officially release the website. The metrics, increase the average attendance to more than 20. Actually, I should put 20 plus, not plus 20. Anyways, steady daily online activity. I would like to be able to see that everybody is engaged in a chat system or something like that, where we have activity every day. Even a high would be counted as activity. And then at least have at least one mentorship action. So in this year, I want to have someone mentor someone. And even if it's like for 10 minutes, that needs to happen. And the last one, get 100 subscribers on YouTube. We have 374 members, so that shouldn't be a problem. Challenges, time. Everybody has this challenge. There's just not enough time in a day. But we need to manage it and prioritize. Creating something that no one uses. Basically, we might end up creating it and then still nobody clicks into the links or stuff. So we need to make sure about surveying people. And then missing deadlines due to learning new technology. So choosing the technology is going to be a big factor, but I want to try to make the decision based on deadlines rather than just keep thinking, oh, maybe the next thing, and just let it go from there. I would prefer not to do it myself alone. So we're welcoming team members. I'm welcoming team members. Pull requests, issue reports, or even enhancement requests. Yeah, that's it. Any feedback, ideas? I don't know. It's pretty overview, so you guys are quiet.
Who would be interested
Anything?
in helping out?
Yeah?
This is my first JS meetup, so
Mhm.
is it always on Wednesdays?
Yes.
Have you guys considered moving it to a day that more people can attend, like a Saturday during the day?
We've considered doing like Saturday, not necessarily meetups like this, but more just coding get-togethers where we hang out for a few hours and
Like a social event?
yeah,
Okay.
hang out, work on projects, kind of like a project fun, which might work into this as well. Yeah, I mean, we chose Wednesday years ago, and we haven't really reevaluated it since then, just because I'm under the assumption that there's always going to be a bad day.
Hmm.
You know, there's always going to be something. Maybe some people can't make it on Saturdays, but yeah, it might be worthwhile just to have separate events, a Wednesday night thing and then a Saturday thing, or I don't know. I mean, it's
Maybe you switch it and have like the social event on Wednesdays,
Mhm.
about, like network
yeah,
on Wednesday, like a bar or something, I don't know, and then Saturdays, more people pay attention, so you can get problems at work, they all get together and we can bounce ideas off each other. Especially during the day,
yeah,
with people out at night. There's something to do on Saturday.
right, yeah.
Okay. I mean, the other thing, we do have a Taco Tuesday
Do I-
for, huh?
Has anybody been to Taco Tuesday?
Well, probably not the
On other
people
days?
here. Well, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that, but I don't know if it
It's-
still happens, but that's a lunchtime thing,
yeah.
where we just meet up for lunch. But I think what happened was that it was really difficult for people to have that lunch hour and try and fit in a drive to whatever restaurant within their lunch hour. I know it was difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem is, we can't ask people who aren't here because Wednesday night is bad for them, if Wednesday night is bad for them.
Yeah.
I really like the mentorship idea. I think that's great, having people be able to give feedback. How many people know that there is a Gitter chat room that? Okay, so yeah, maybe that's,
I never heard of it in general.
no,
I
you,
never heard about it.
yeah.
Okay.
Gitter
I
is,
just know Slack.
yeah, it's kind of like Slack.
Why not use
It's
Slack?
more open source, I guess. It's
Do
friendlier
you
to.
guys interact with like the other like development meetups at all? Like, you know the people from them or anything?
I've talked with a
Some
couple
of
of them.
them,
You
yeah.
know some of them.
Couple.
Maybe like, cause I
Like-
feel like just like for the group, maybe like the website's a little too like narrow, but maybe for like, it could make it like bigger. It's like all of like San Antonio's like development, you know, like
Right.
something like that. I know like
So
the, and you could get the events from Geekdom and
Mhm.
not just from the meetup or something like that. Have you looked at like if they have an API like meetup.com or something?
I think Meetup
Yeah,
does.
they
does.
do. So Geekdom also has their own event thing.
They do. Daniel, did you meet with the guy from the
Yeah,
Ruby
yeah.
one? And that was kind of on this subject, right?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, it was mostly just complaining. Why are people
Man, I
not
should've been
coming? Yeah.
I'm pretty complaining.
We did have an idea of wanting to get all the organizers together and try to get a, something big going on. But at this moment, there's still nothing going on. So we'll see.
Honestly,
Um,
I like
mhm.
smaller groups.
Mhm.
I've been to larger meetups.
You get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I've got some good news.
We're very small.
No, that's PCC.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's even better.
that's even better, right?
So are you sending out the survey this month?
Yeah, probably by the end of the month.
And will you like include on that, like ask us if we wanna help out, or how would we contact you if we wanna work on the project with you?
Where is it? Wait, I lost it. There. The Gitter channel.
You just want me to join the Gitter channel?
Yes.
How do we join it?
Have you guys? Did you guys receive an email saying what was going to happen today?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna. All right. All right. Cool.
I got it.
All right. Yeah, I sent it to the people who were active for the last 3 months. So I'm gonna guess that you guys weren't active. Yeah. I'll post it on the meetup page. So it's basically a channel, chatting channel. So and coordinate in there.
It is on the meetup page, because that's how I found it. Like, I just
It
clicked on
should be.
Twitter and then did the GitHub login. Or
Yeah. Let's see. Meetup. How do I? Let's see.
So is the idea to replace the meetup page as our official, this is my first time, so I'm just, trying to understand. But is the idea to kind of replace it as our official page or?
Not necessarily. Basically, make it so it's easier for people to reach the group. Because I feel like Meetup is good to RSVP, but have you seen the discussion board? There is a discussion board there. Nobody knows about it. So, in terms of being able to communicate after you join the Meetup, it's not great. San Antonio, Hill Country, Jazz.
Right, you can't search for it very easily, can
I know, I couldn't find it.
You just gotta log in as a user.
you? Right.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
need all
remember
your
my
information.
account. You said it was somewhere here?
What are you trying to do?
The Gitter link? Is it that? No, that's YouTube, that's Twitter.
Here, let me jump on it quick.
I'm streaming live.
Yeah, oh, there it is.
Where is it?
It's on the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
We also have a, yes.
You might want to log into
Oh, cool.
your thing.
that's me.
Hey. I don't need a, do we need a lineup for this? Oh, sorry, I didn't want to distract you. I wanted to, before I
I mean,
forget.
I'm pretty much done.
No, you keep going, you're doing good. We also have Hill Country JS. Why is that on there? That doesn't need to be there. Okay, so this is the one that you were looking at?
Yeah. See how updated on April 6th?
Mm-hmm.
Time management.
See, this one updated in September. So every,
Yeah.
and this shouldn't even be here. This was something that I messed up on. Yeah, but.
I might focus on that.
Okay. So you were just showing that off?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
people would join.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best options we have is this sort of thing for when you have like random questions about JavaScript and want to get connected to people. If Gitter doesn't, like,
I'm wondering if we should
I don't know.
switch.
to what? I mean, the nice thing
Slack,
about,
Discord, or
I think Gitter is good because it's got GitHub integration.
right, that's what I was gonna say. You don't have to create a new account to sign into Gitter, you just sign in through GitHub. And that's one of the nicer things about it.
Yeah, I think it's true.
I think just maybe making it a little bit more apparent on the Meetup website and things like
Mhm.
that would be good.
Yeah,
So, you done?
I'm done. I mean, no, it's silent setup.
Okay, well, yes. Thank you for saying all the things and doing the research into kind of what people have mentioned on the Meetup profiles, because that is one thing that I try to do. I don't do a lot to take action on it, but I do want to have in mind when you sign up what it is that you are looking for. Because sometimes if I don't know, if you can get stuck doing something because you think you're supposed to be doing it instead of just like doing something valuable. So what we've been doing so far has been a speaker, remote or something, but maybe that's not the best use of this meetup. Maybe it's better if we do have something where we meet on Saturdays and just hang out, work on projects, or just talk and stuff. So anyway, feedback is invaluable, and so thanks for that and stuff like that. So pizza, and drinks are in there. Just soda tonight. There's Geekdom has changed their policy on alcoholic beverages, where you need to have a security guard if you're going to have alcoholic beverages. So wasn't able to get that all completed and everything. But let's take a quick break for pizza, and then we'll jump on to whatever's next. In here, this is how they kind of did their documentation at one point. I don't know if they still do it this way, but they basically have the code on one side and then a description on the other.
I think Stripe does their documentation like this too.
Yeah. Is this kind of what you were talking about?
Yeah,
Or
more or less.
Yeah.
Are you trying to pitch us an idea and you've already done it?
No.
Wouldn't that be great if that existed? Right?
Okay. Did you have something you want to show?
Yeah.
Okay.
If anybody's interested. So,
What is it?
my name is Steve, and my day job is video production. And I went to an After Effects workshop in Seattle, and I learned about scripting. And you can actually run little JavaScript programs in After Effects and get it to do additional things. You can do it in not just After Effects, but a lot of the Adobe programs. I really don't have much, glasses help. Where'd they go? I don't have much experience with Java. There they are. I've taken a couple of online courses, and I've kind of looked into some things. So, let's make you bigger. Adobe refers to it as ExtendScript, and it's basically, it's JavaScript. There are some functional things that,
Can you make the text larger?
if you can tell me
Like
how.
Command plus.
Yeah,
maybe?
we'll see.
What about view?
I'm trying. Now let's do this.
It's just
No.
JavaScript though. Like that's what.
Yeah, it's based on JavaScript. They refer to it as it's ExtendScript.
Always trying to take over.
I know.
Yeah, just like a
It's
variation
like,
of
like action script instead. And then we kind of call it X.
Flash uses ActionScript.
Yeah,
It's a
based
little
off of
different.
ES3. Yeah, sounds like the same.
2016 over there,
Yeah.
USA guy?
I think it was
Mm.
ES3.
Sounds old.
What's that?
You used 2016 or ES5?
We use Babel.
Oh.
So we use ES20.
So is that just like, are all those refer to this? Do all those refer to the same thing or no? Like, because there's.
I don't know why I can't
Yeah.
zoom on this thing.
Yeah, they want to use the year, right? Everybody still calls it ES6.
The code that was on the previous is actually a program or a little script called Do It, and we use it to do character animation, to rig characters, to make their arms movable, a lot of the properties movable so that you can get them to move easily. It's like puppet animation. So you link the limbs together to the different joints and get them to move just by manipulating controllers. But the reason I came today was I want to try and learn a little bit about JavaScript, where you can actually go so far as once you know how to do something in the program, you can script it out pretty much so it will do everything. And when we dump video to people, we give it to them with a time code and they say, okay, we want from here to here, here to here, here to here. So I want to be able to write a script where when somebody says this is a video we want, I can put it in a spreadsheet, hit run, and it spits it out by itself. So, there's a website called AE Scripts, and this is where you can get a lot of commercial scripts for controlling layers of things, controlling how things move, how things work together. normally, when you do something like this in After Effects, you'd like draw a box. Then you go into the scale and you tell it, make the box bigger over so much time. And you can link certain things together. But with a script, you can actually move one thing and then make things move in relation to them without having to move each and every piece by itself.
So you're kind of scripting the keyframe.
You don't so much script the keyframes as you can actually script it to build everything. You can go so far as to tell it to build a box, make the box rotate, make it do this over a certain amount of time without even
You don't do
doing
After
anything.
Effects? Or like, cause you said you could do it without After Effects?
Oh, you can do some scripting in other programs like Photoshop and InDesign and some other things. It's an obscure use of JavaScript, really.
Yeah, like video processing kind of.
It doesn't do, those are more plugins. Plugins control the way things look. Scripts control how things are done.
Okay. Have you ever heard of P5.js? Or it's a version of processing in JavaScript. And it kind of, like, people use it for making games and like animations and stuff like that. I feel like it was kind of similar, you know, to like the use case here. But
It's kind of similar. I know there's a different program for animation that uses bones and things, and it can you can control spit out code for how things move. But this is basically, you know, you go through and animate each property at once and make them look different ways and.
so you see down there where it says like right foot and right hand. Could you reference that in like action or whatever it is script?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, you reference layers, you reference properties. There's actually a script to use to build scripts that you highlight an object and it tells you what the path is to that. So you know what properties you need to address and how to build them, and there's a guide and everything. So if anybody's curious, I can let you know more about it, but that's basically why I'm here.
What was that thing you said? Where did you say you went to?
There's a conference, it's called, it was called After Effects World, but now it's called Adobe Video World, and they do Premiere and After Effects together. And there's actually, one of the courses that I took online is at FXPHD, and they have a course on building a script. There we go, intro to scripting.
So you said you mostly do like video production?
Yeah, I really like doing the motion graphics, the animation side of the house, and that's how I got into After Effects. And then once I learned how everything I could do in After Effects, I was like, I want to do that.
Did you do a lot of editing programming before? Like,
No, just like late 90s when HTML was taking off, I learned a little bit of rollover states and that kind of stuff, but I've never really done any programming. I can kind of wrap my head around it, but my head doesn't 100% work that way.
you got it. I mean, it's mostly just like if and like for loops.
Yeah, it's getting those loops and getting them in order and that kind of thing. So, it's short and sweet.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You need a laptop?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can do it.
This is not really a show and tell yet, but my New Year's plan is in the process of procrastinating, updating my own blog. Like got syntax highlighting set up via Pigment, right? I'm using Hugo, which is like a Go-based static website generator. And I was like, I don't like the install process for Pigments. I want to make something that's statically compilable like Hugo, right? I want just like a single executable. With Pigments, you got to install Python, whole tool chain, big mess. No fun like across platforms. And so I was like, well, okay, how can I statically compile like a syntax highlighter? So I started looking into syntax highlighters. And the main thing that I wanted was that the code in my editor, I wanted it to look exactly like the code on my website. Because I'm really procrastinating on making this website, right? It has to be perfect. So if you look around at the different syntax highlighters or syntax highlighting systems that things use, like TextMate uses TM language, and then everything that's been made after TextMate basically also uses TM language. So VS Code uses TM language, Atom uses TM language, Sublime used TM language for like years, and now they switched to their own syntax. And yeah, so I was like, okay, now I gotta build a TM language syntax highlighter. TM language is the format that the syntax is written in. And so how do I do that? Well, TextMate has an open source implementation of like what they use internally to syntax highlight using these files, but it's GPL, and if you look at GPL code, then the code that you read off that GPL code is also GPL. I don't want that. So I have to what's the word? Reverse engineer. I have to reverse engineer the TextMate language syntax highlighter from other open source ones that are out there. Anyways, I did the first step of this.
Sounds like a pretty big rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, very, very deep. I'm shaving this yak so hard. And so I did the first step, which was basically downloading the grammars from different open source projects. So it downloads all the grammars from VS Code. It downloads all of the grammars from Atom, all the grammars from TextMate, and then it analyzes them. And I wrote a JSON schema. I don't know if anybody's familiar with JSON schema. It's like a JSON structure that lets you validate other JSON documents. So you write like the object should have these properties and this many keys and all that. And so that's what this is. I finished this 2 days ago. So step 1 done. Step 2 still to come. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. And then another thing that I built while I was sitting on the couch a couple of nights. Let's see if this works. Joshua. Oh wait, no Josh. Dude. Please work. Oh, cool. My friend Josh plays, he plays drums, and we were hanging out one day. And he's a percussionist by practice, but he's like really, really good at keyboard drums. And I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. I want to play around with that in the same way, but I don't have a keyboard, so I was like, oh, I'm doing. So I built a Create React app over 2 days. The sounds need to load, and they don't load until I press the button. So let me press all these buttons really quick. Okay, and then yeah, it uses React Motion. Look at that key press animation, guys. Wow.
I guess when you press it uses CSS. It changes.
Yeah, it goes React Motion. Uses Springs. I don't know if does anybody use React Motion? it's a really nice component that gets used with React that makes animating things. If you've ever used animations, sometimes it's hard. What do you do when you're in the middle of an animation, right? Like do you go back to the beginning or do you go to the end, or have you ever seen awkward jumps in animations? React Motion evens that out, so it uses springs. So you say, all right, you need to be at 0 now, and then you say, okay, now you're at 1, and then React Motion handles the in-between. And if you say, okay, you need to go to 0, it just goes back from there. So it eases depending on where it is in a reactive way. There it is.
Awesome.
That reminded me of something out there. If you haven't seen 30 Days of JavaScript,
I've been procrastinating on that. I did 2 of them.
you did 2 of them? All right. So I haven't done any, so there you go.
Yeah, it's the first challenge that you did.
Oh, it was the drums? Okay, yeah. But I don't think it's as advanced as that one was.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a free thing that this guy put together, and one app. JavaScript drum. Not as cool. But yeah, that's out there. So if you want to learn basic vanilla JavaScript, this is a good one. Any other presentations?
I can show my project.
Do it. Is it on GitHub?
Yes, it is.
I'll start typing for you. Okay, there you go.
You keep doing that.
Let's see, so, I've worked on this project. This is a medical application for managing medical images. So like your CT scan, your MRIs, your PETs, and all that good stuff. This is deployed internally in our company. I work for a cancer center here in San Antonio. This application was originally a C++ backend, ASP.NET front end with SQL Server. Now it's a C++ backend with Node, Express, and MySQL. So I'm actually working on moving that to Node, React, and DynamoDB. So now this project actually started back in 2004. So it's not like I've done this in the past year. So yeah. Since we are doing JavaScript, let me show you the front end of it. So one of the reasons, how do I make this bigger? There we go. Right, so one of the big reasons why I migrated from ASP.NET to JavaScript was because JavaScript was just using a lot of newer web technology. Things were getting implemented in JavaScript a lot faster. So this project, when I was doing the ASP.NET, one of the requirements, one of the pages was the status update, real-time status update of what server was doing. Because when we manage images, you want to know, is my image, which is like 600 megs, done sending to XYZ doctor? Okay, so you gotta have a person sit in front of the computer, look at the status. Is it done? Is it not done? If it didn't finish, I need to resend it, or maybe call somebody, figure out why it wasn't sending, whatever. So real-time update was a big reason why I moved over to using Node.js and JavaScript, because the implementation for Socket.io and for WebSocket, which is real-time push to a web page, was a lot more mature. So that was one of the primary reasons why I switched over to doing Node and JavaScript development in general.
So this project here, and you guys are welcome to look at code. I wrote this as a way to learn JavaScript, literally, because I already had a working application, right, in production. I knew how it was designed. I knew all the requirements. So I could just skip over all of that design, user case, test cases, all that stuff. Schema design, all that was already done. So all I needed to do was learn JavaScript and then convert all that design knowledge over to JavaScript and implement it. So I implemented this, let's see if I can see how it took to do this. 78 commits. I started back in, okay, so August 2016 was when I first started this project. So that's when I started to learn JavaScript, confident enough that I was able to convert a ASP.NET application over. And my goal was to implement everything the old application had, which was displaying status list, searching for patient information, and do simple setups within the application. Implement all that plus having real-time status updates. Okay, now you're gonna laugh, the old version of the code, the way it did status update was meta refresh every 5 seconds. That was the state of the art, you know. Now of course that was state of the art, maybe 20 years ago or something like that. So like, this has got to go. So
Am I doing things wrong?
I think a lot of people still do it, still do meta refresh. And okay, when you have users still on Windows XP, okay?
Windows XP.
Okay, Windows XP, because this is medical, okay?
Yeah.
Medical is like 10 years behind.
Yeah.
So
In terms of
computers, so yeah, I am still, in fact, next week I am doing a software migration of, or software upgrade of one of our, our line of business application. One of the requirements was you must use Windows 7. Okay, now so when you got clients like that, you kind of have to grind your teeth and go, okay. So using Socket.io and things like that, definitely will cut out some of those Windows XP clients. IE9, I think. So those people are.
7 starts with
Is it
ice.
7 or 9 or I don't know what the latest
Try to
version.
forget as much of that. I mean, if they don't update Windows 7 and it's just vanilla, I think it's ice. No, wait, i8. Probably 8. Yeah, right. Who's 9?
So we'll get into a little bit about how, for this project, the nitty gritty is it uses Node, it uses Express, so it's mainly an Express application. And then the front end, it's got one page that is in React. And the reason why that one page is in React is because it is the page that hosts the Socket.io invitation. And let me show you where that is done. So when this started, the first thing I implemented was implement refresh, like the old ASP.NET, because I wanted basically a one-to-one translation of the application from one language to another. So initially there was a status list that had meta refresh, and it worked. It talked to the backend, it got the list, displayed it. Okay, meta refresh, 5 seconds. Kept going. Then eventually I converted over to using React. So this is the React component. So it's a very simple React component. Are you guys familiar with React? sort of, kind of. Yeah. So this React component is very simple. It just it's got an item. It's got all these properties like patient ID, patient name, study, blah blah blah. When it was being updated, all this stuff is coming from the back end. So basically, just a bunch of data that is displayed. And then I found out that there was some weird JavaScript date time issue, so I'm using Moment. I commented out this is, I believe, TypeScript, I think. I commented that out because I was like, this is not a big project, 78 commits, and it's working, so I'm like, comment gone. And this is the overall status page itself. So you have a table and then got problems and whatnot. So this is basically like the view in the MVC pattern. So you got the map to state. So because it is the view in MVC, it operates purely on states. So it looks at the state in the property. Like, let's say the name state has changed. So it will like render itself because it's not JavaScript magic. Don't question it. And you got this connect map state props. So what this is actually doing is that it is mapping a state in JavaScript, which is a state object, to properties, which is like a attribute list. So because you've got JavaScript on one side and you got like HTML on the other side, right? So HTML, you have properties, you have classes, you have things like that. So this function just maps that over. So this is a very simple React component. So if you want to look at like minimal React code, like this is it. This is like super minimal because I wrote it as a way to like, what is the least amount of code I can write to get this working? Yeah. So that's the view part, and then this is the client. So this is the page that creates a socket, a WebSocket to the Node Express server. Okay, so we've got, I create this socket, which is a socket library, socket IO. I think it's called socket IO. That's the website, right? Yeah. And all it does is that it just, if it sees this event here called update out session item, then it will dispatch. Now, dispatch, what it's doing is that it's changing the state. And the state type is called update, and then just put whatever is received into like item. And then that's it. And then, let's see what else. I wrote this code a while back, so. Okay, so we've got, let's see, I actually have two states here. One is called update out session item. So this updates just one line. So earlier you saw in the React file there were two items in there. There were actually two classes, two components in the status list. One was this status list item, which represents each individual line. Unfortunately, I don't have any screenshots to show you guys because it's all like medical data and I can't violate HIPAA compliance and all that good stuff. So, I guess I should, maybe I'll put up like a public version of this and let the internet go to town, but it doesn't have any authentication, no logins, no nothing. No, I mean it is just like because the whole system is installed on Windows. So it actually runs on Windows. So it's a JavaScript application, a Node Express running on Windows, but it's protected behind like Active Directory and all that stuff. But back to React. So you got the status list item, so that represents each of the lines with the item, and then you got the overall, the entire status list. So that's why I've got two corresponding states. One is to update each individual item. So let's say that the number of images, like I've sent 5 out of 100 images already. Then I just want to update that one line. I don't want to update the entire page. Okay? If you're updating the entire page, just do meta refresh, right? Don't bother doing all this stuff. If you're just doing that. So the whole point, the whole idea of doing WebSocket is you don't have to refresh the data on the whole page. Just update one item. So that's what that does. Is that it whenever it's got an item update, it will only update one item. So and then of course I also have the ability to just clear the whole thing, just overwrite everything. So this is essentially kind of like a meta refresh, but pushed from the server. And then here we've got some boilerplate React code. And we'll get tutorials. Now, what's interesting about React, and especially the way that kind of React works, is that these are all JavaScript, but this is what's called ES6, which is also known as ES 2016. Which is like the next version of JavaScript, but it's not available in the browser yet. So it does, you have to do what's called transcompile, where you compile your new JavaScript into old JavaScript. And so you've got this Babel polyfill that lets you write in new syntax. And then,
how do you, so is there, you use like require there. What is like dependency management like in like JavaScript, like using like this? Like how would you install this like on a new computer?
oh, okay. So the way you would install this project, you can either GitHub git checkout, or you can just copy the file. And then, of course, you need a node installed.
If it's like npm or something, or
right. So when you install Node, it comes with npm.
okay.
Right. So you install Node. On Windows, you just go to the website, download the package, and then you go to the command line, and you have npm. And so you just change directory to the code, and then you just type in npm space install, press enter. And then it will automatically look at what's called package.json. It has a description of all the packages that this project uses. So I'm using Babel is the transcompiler to compile new JS to old JS. You've got some session information, debugging, there's Express, there's I think this is kind of in the process of doing migration to AWS right now, so that's why you see AWS, you see Passport, you see MySQL, so there's React, Redux, Socket.io, and then Webpack. Webpack is the, what do they call it? I think middleware? Well, sort of. Webpack is like, kind of like a mismatch between dependency management and transcompiler and scripting automator all in one thing. Basically, what it does is that it lets you write a line server-side software. Let me see here. Server-side software right here. Okay. So use compiler equals Webpack. Because it is kind of a compiler, right? Yeah, it's magic. It is literally, whenever I use JavaScript, I feel like this. I read a tutorial, and then I look at the tutorial, and then they're like, just type this in. They don't tell you why you're typing it in. And then you run the code. You're like, why am I typing this in? I have no idea. So literally, this.
Password on Google now.
Yeah, I mean, really, like when I was writing this React thing, I followed the tutorial on React, and it didn't work. I was like, why is it not working? Why is the browser telling me, this is wrong or this dot is wrong? Well, it turns out because it doesn't support like ES6, right? So I found out, I need to transcompile. What the heck does that mean? And then they're like, oh, you need Webpack. What is Webpack? What is this stupid thing? So anyways, I literally copy and pasted this code from some tutorial. It just said, all right, import your compiler from Webpack and then just put this in. It's like, okay, put it in, all right. And then you hit the run button and it magically spits out some files that you don't care about, and it works. But that's, my background is in C++, C#, ASP.NET, where everything is very clear, very defined. If you're missing something, or if it's trying to do something, it gives you more or less good errors. You know exactly, what's going on. Not so
JavaScript doesn't have good error messages.
Yeah, JavaScript has horrible error messages. It's terrible. It's really bad. Half of the time, what you're doing is that you're like, well, why does this not work? And it gives you some obscure error like object is incorrect or this method is not a function. It's like, what? Yeah, this is undefined. Well, what is undefined? or even better, anonymous function dot long is undefined. Well, yeah, thanks. So in some ways it's kind of like, as I learn React and JavaScript and all that stuff. What I know is that a lot of people kind of hope that you copy and paste the code, you paste it in, and then you press run, literally, because JavaScript doesn't have a compiler. You can't really catch errors during compile time. No such thing exists. The only way you know that it doesn't work is just try the code path. If the code path works, it works. If it doesn't work, then
How does JavaScript work on the browser? Does every browser has its own JavaScript engine? I know Chrome has V6, something like that, or V6.
Yes. V8. So Chrome has V8. Microsoft Edge has Chakra, I think. Chakra or something.
And you have to download and install this, use Node or something like that.
No. So
That's the rendering engine.
yeah. So in the same way that that Internet Explorer and Firefox and Chrome have a built-in JavaScript engine, Node is a JavaScript engine. Except Node is a JavaScript engine that does not have a user interface. It just has a text-based interface. So in that sense, that's why you can run JavaScript on the server and also on the browser. Because even on your phone, you have a browser that's capable of running JavaScript. What the Webpack does is that what Webpack does is that it looks at your configuration, your files, your includes, and all that stuff, and it tries to figure out how to get it to a state where it's runnable in the browser. Because if you're writing all this advanced JavaScript, all this JavaScript next, all this ES6, next generation JavaScript, the browser has no idea what it is. In fact, you copy and paste the React code into a browser, it will just go invalid syntax, right? So the only way that you can get all these codes to work is to run it through a transcompiler. And the compiler I'm using is called Babel. And let me show you where that is.
I think we gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a bundler? Is that what the term?
Yeah, it's kind of like a bundler, yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what the term is.
Closure script, and like, there's like a bunch of other languages that just like compile down to like JavaScript.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I believe Elm is like the current hot thing to compile to JavaScript or something like that. So if you want language and API fatigue, then I encourage you to learn Elm. But this is the configuration for Webpack. It tells you, you tell it that I want to, as input, the source, the output, the public, and that I want to use the Babel loader. And then it does some magic that I don't quite understand. I don't need to. So I think that's the beauty with JavaScript. You don't need to understand half of the way things work, because you can follow a tutorial, copy and paste, and then it'll work. You know, sometimes, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I mean. Honestly, that is it's both a plus and a minus, because coming from the C# world, where everything has to be compiled before you can do anything, right? So if you're writing some code and it doesn't compile, you cannot test anything. The whole program can't test, right? Because if you just have one line off, it doesn't work. Whereas with JavaScript, if you have a line that's incorrect, that does not prevent you from running and testing the rest of the program. So that's one of the big advantages of JavaScript. And of course, at the same time, you lose out on the problem of, well, I don't know if the entire program is really bug-free, because it's hard to test. You can write. I know that test-driven development is a very big thing, but you can never test your whole program. That's
You like, because like JavaScript's like dynamically typed, right? Like you don't have to specify.
That's correct.
It's an integer going into this or whatever, right?
right. All parsing and error handling and everything is all done at runtime. So you don't really know what errors you're going to get. You don't really know what errors are going to happen during runtime.
Thanks.
So that's kind of the project. So you guys want to?
Yeah, post this to the meetup page.
Okay.
In the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can look at my check-in history. It's relatively clean, I guess. And you can see the progression between like going from like nothing to, hey, it works. If you want to, so a little bit very quick, if you want to try to deploy this application, you can. This is just the front end. You also need the back end for it to work, and that is in another project. That is in this one right here. This is a C++ program. It should compile in Visual Studio 2013 or higher. So if you guys want to try it out, I made it very simple. There's a bash file. Just open the develop command prompt and run the bash file. It will git download everything for you. So,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming out. I'm going to do one quick mention on a project that I'm working on. If you're into automated functional testing, there's a website, and I'm just going to show the website. It's testyourlog.in. Right now it's a landing page, but if you have any interest in automated functional testing, I want to make it like, this is going to be like a starter pack for if you have a login page, you're going to give it the CSS selectors of your input, your email input and your password, and then it's going to generate functional tests for you that you can install and run on whatever it is that you want to run it. So that's what I'm going to be working on, but I don't want to keep y'all any longer. Thanks for coming out. You feel free to stick around if you want to, grab the rest of the pizza, take home soda if you want to take it home, and see y'all next month on a Wednesday or a Saturday. I don't know. We may be here, we may not be here. Thanks.
I hope that was kind of
Yeah.
off the cuff. Like, okay, let's just go from there.